My name is ØYVIND. I'm an advisor at ROMSDAL County Council, a colleague of Marlene and May-Britt. I'm going to speak to you today about a scheme called Corporate Internal Training, as we shorten it BO2 in Norwegian. I will stop using BO2 because it's the problem. It's not a good English word, but it's, that's what we call it in Norwegian. So to speak to you about what's Corporate Internal Training 2 is, I have to give you a little bit of background. What is corporate internal training? So the corporate internal training is a scheme that was the Norwegian Labour and Welfare Service was responsible for the scheme up to 2020. So from 2020, the county councils was handed the responsibility of this particular scheme. It's this scheme is a highly rated market measure for businesses to prevent layoffs and dismissals, and so to support businesses in their necessary restructuring when they're in difficulties in the market conditions or whatever that's their problem was in the first place. This was and the ROMSDAL region was the region in Norway where the most popular, most used scheme in all of Norway. So it's highly rated for the businesses. The purpose of the corporate internal training is to prevent employees from being excluded from the labor market by strengthening their skills or qualifications to make sure they be qualified to keep working after their restructuring. And some important guidelines are this. Now I'm speaking about the original corporate internal training, and I will come to next in a bit to what we did to change it to adapt to the conditions concerning COVID-19. So important guidelines. It's open only for single companies to apply. You can only apply for training in addition to the company's ordinary training. The grants from this scheme is above it's about 40 to 50% of approved costs, and grants can cover costs associated with the providing training and also salaries for the participants who get the training. And it's an important note here: employees can only participate while they're at work in the original one. So persons with 100% laid off cannot participate in this scheme. So the COVID-19 impact on the labor markets in Møre og Romsdal. So Norway and Møre og Romsdal County normally has a very low unemployment rate. But at the beginning in 2020, at least February and March, we saw a quick rise in unemployment and especially layoffs. So as in Norway and Møre og Romsdal, as the rest of Europe, strong restrictions for travel and gathering of people. And we observed that corporate internal training, the original scheme, is well designed, providing support for businesses to prevent exclusion from the labor market. But however, the corporate internal training was not designed for providing support for laid off employees who have already been laid off. So what did we do? So in a few weeks, we designed a new scheme, and we call it Corporate Internal Training 2. So about this scheme, it's primarily aimed at persons who have been laid off in whole or in part. The grants for this from this scheme can only cover costs related to providing training. There was no coverage of salaries for participants. And we only offer support for online training offers. And as in the same as the original corporate internal training, there has to be training that comes in addition to the company's ordinary training. And there's also a different important change for this for the second corporate internal training scheme. Both individual companies and association of companies could apply. So such examples as of association of companies can be cluster projects, destination companies like Visit Ålesund, Business Park, etc. So what was the effects that we experienced? And this scheme was designed in I would say 2 or 3 weeks. So it was very had to really change our scheme quickly, because we saw that the original one didn't handle the problem with the number of layoffs, which were quite high. So the effects of the scheme have to. It's impressive, the quick response we got, both from businesses, single businesses, and especially the association of businesses. Very quick response, and we were already in April when this was published in March, and only in April the first courses was online. And we observed that we were able to mobilize many local suppliers of online training. That was it's also important experience for them to change their behavior into going from to more physical training to be a supplier of online training. And by the opening the scheme for association of businesses helped us reach out to many laid-off employees, far more than we could have done if they only was able to apply for single companies. And we observed it has really sparked and fueled the transition to online training, as we observe in ROMSDAL. So this is about tells you a bit about what we thought about when we designed the scheme, but this is only words. So I would really want to bring in HÅVAR RISNES from Okape Innovation Company, who they applied for this scheme, and they have a very exciting project that I'm looking forward to HÅVAR RISNES sharing with us. So HÅVAR, the word is yours.
Well, thank you very much for inviting me. I think I would like to start my presentation with some few words about Okape, the company that I'm representing. And Okape is a regional innovation agency. We were established back in 1999, so we have 20 years plus of experience. The ownership of the company is 50-50 private and public. And we have some 15 plus employees within different competence arenas, from sector-specific experiences like within the marine sector and the maritime sector, which are the two largest clusters in our region. We have we're a total supplier of services for entrepreneurship, innovation, business development. My own role in the company is to work with early phase startups and established companies who's heading for new growth, scale-up companies. We operate as an incubator, and we have 3 cluster programs, including a national catapult center, which is a test center where we test digital prototyping and digital twins using our AR technology and virtual reality technology. So our job is to help the community and the businesses here to spread ahead into the business community of tomorrow. And we're very happy for the support we have from the local county, MØRE and ROMSDAL County, with ØYVIND and Malene and their colleagues. We're located at the Ålesund campus, and we're very proud of the Ålesund campus. It's very close relationships here between the companies, like big international companies like the Kongsberg Maritime and Inmarsat, and the research institutions like SINTEF and MØRE, the university, NTNU, the Norwegian Technology University, and also with the business community, mingling and meeting and building the future competence here on the campus. So we normally say that this is the most business close campus in Norway. We are, of course, eager to innovate through interplay, and we base our innovation activities on international, well-known and accredited methodic, like we do in the startup and scale-up system. We use the MIT regional entrepreneurship model. And you all know Michael Porter and his theories. So of course, when we work with the global and international companies here in our region, we use also international methodology. And to make companies grow, making clusters grow is about using the right methodologies. You know, Okape is a hub for innovation and entrepreneurship. We offer cluster programs, and we offer competence programs as the BO2 that we will discuss more into detail today. We also work as the project leaders for the cluster programs as mentioned. So what does it mean to be a hub? We do simulation and test center activities within the technologies of tomorrow. We, as an example, recently built a virtual ship Norway, where the supplier industry and design companies and the owners of the ships in our region are building virtual ships, showing solutions of tomorrow, where you can enter a digital model, you can enter the bridge of an unbuilt cruise ship, you can see different kind of solutions on board the ship. We work with entrepreneurship, so every year we have like 300 new business ideas that we are coaching. Either it's within established companies or from people who are considering to establish their own business for the first time. We work with R&D and international businesses, and of course within the competence building, which is the focus of today's meeting. And competence building and capacity building is of course extremely important in the international business community that we are a part of. It's very difficult really to know what is the next big thing. What we know is that we need to prepare. We need to prepare for the next big thing, building the regional attractiveness. We need to apply smart technologies. We need to be aware of sustainability and the market opportunities this represents. We need to be spreadheading on the new technologies and prepare for disruption. So the Blue Maritime cluster and the Legacy cluster, of course, experienced the effect of the COVID-19 in the early days of March last year. And what we did was that we experienced that capacity building and competence building is the key to handle with the corona and to build new expertise into our companies. So more than 1,000 persons from the business community of MØRE and ROMSDAL and the Sunnmøre-Ålesund region participated in our digital platform, where we had different kind of courses and capacity building on the digital platforms. Norway closed down on the 12th of March, and it had, of course, enormous consequences for the whole community up here. And many of our private companies had to lay off workers and to reduce the amount of people on site. And to support our business community in this context, we cooperated with the local universities, we cooperated with the local clusters, and of course also with other universities within Norway, like the School of Business in in Bergen, and we experienced an incredible strong response from the community. So within a very short period, we delivered 40 courses on the digital platform and had more than 1,000 participants. It's also very clear that we need to continue this platform in 2021. I could hear that some of you mentioned that we're kind of starting the third wave of COVID now. So the need for building more competence is obvious, and for preparing the business community for the days after the COVID-19. I will show you, give you some insight into the platform and the different kind of courses that we have been supporting. Thank you very much. Now I brought you into the web page we call Okape Academy. This is where you can get an overview of all the free digital courses that we have been supplying during the last year, and which we will continue to offer. It's within different kind of topics. It's like the course here on strategy and how to govern the company. It's about project management. It's technology and ICT. It's within sale and market. And this course on sale and market was incredibly attractive for the companies. What we experienced with the COVID-19 is that the business community is going digital. And our business community is normally a very relation-based community, trading with international customers in Europe, in the Americas, in Asia, in China. And the big issue they got up on is how to build relations now that everything is going digital. How do you meet a potential cooperational partner? How do you meet a potential client? When you used to meet them over a seminar, over a dinner, to connect closely and build relationship, how do you do this digital? So sale and market has been very important topic for our businesses and how to do this on the digital platforms. Of course, also how to govern the company through crisis and how to work with communication is an obvious theme within the COVID-19 terrain. Production. So you can see here a number of different digital courses from strategy and management, project management, technology and ICT, sale and market, communication and production. And then through, as mentioned, in 2020, we delivered 40 such digital courses with more than 1,000 participants. That was a little bit about who Okape is and what kind of courses that we have delivered up on the BO2 platform and the response from the local community here. And also the very clear statement that building competence and capacity is something we did back in 2020, and it's definitely something we need to continue doing in 2021. And it's very highly adequate when we see that the third wave of the COVID-19 is over us.
Thank you. So that was the end.
That was the end.
Yeah. Thank you, Håvard. I just want to. Oh, I have echo. Yeah. I just want to state and highlight that we had to change national policy to actually implement this BIO2 arrange or scheme because we were not allowed to give support for temporarily laid off employers. So we actually had to change. Norway had to change its policy to make this happen. So this is important, but also the possibility to transform this to other region is quite big, both in the example that HÅVAR presented, but also when it comes to create schemes for that group of workers, I think.